You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Wednesday, March 11th. I'm Johnny Connor. Thanks for listening to Four Things to Know. Our top story today. A Minnesota state agency announced a legal settlement with Lyft after finding the rideshare company violated the state's Human Rights Act. Today, Minnesota's Department of Human Rights said the rideshare company repeatedly denied rides to a blind college student traveling with her service dog. The department said Lyft violated state civil rights law when drivers canceled multiple rides for Tori Andrews. Drivers did this repeatedly over more than a years-long span after learning she was traveling with her guide dog, Alfred. Under the new measures, drivers who attempt to cancel a ride for a passenger traveling with a disclosed service animal will immediately receive an in-app message warning. The warning says that canceling the ride violates both the law and company policy and may lead to termination. The agreement also includes a $63,000 monetary settlement for Andrews. She shared some of her thoughts on the settlement today.
I travel pretty much everywhere with my guide dog. He is my eyes, he is my freedom, and he is why I am able to live independently. It's also hard because I need to get where I need to go at specific times, like anyone. And when Lyft drivers deny you a ride, you end up missing appointments, being late, or just not going at all.
A Lyft spokesperson released a statement saying in part, quote, discrimination has no place in the Lyft community. Lyft has maintained a strict service animal policy for nearly a decade, and independent drivers who violate that policy face consequences of permanent deactivation. Number two, we have an update on what's being done in Minnesota to prevent veteran suicide. At a state capitol hearing this morning, we heard about the Veteran Suicide Prevention Plan. Rachel Johnson from the state's Department of Veterans Affairs gave a suicide prevention report. She said Minnesota continues to lose about 100 veterans to suicide each year. That number was down to around 80 deaths in 2024, but it's back up to around 100 last year. She said they have an updated and expanded plan that establishes a coordinated statewide approach to prevention for veterans and their families.
Preventing veteran suicide requires more than individual programs. It requires a coordinated system built through partnership, data, and sustained commitment. Minnesota is making meaningful progress by strengthening prevention, improving access to care, and working collaboratively across communities and systems to support veterans and their families.
The suicide prevention plan will be phased in during the next 4 years. If you or someone you know is in crisis right now, help is always available. Just call or text 988 and talk to a real person trained to help. Number three, a veto from Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey on a city council measure. The Minneapolis City Council said they wanted to help renters following Operation Metro Surge, so they passed an ordinance last week that would have extended an eviction notice period. Currently, landlords are only required to give 30 days before filing an eviction notice, but this extension would have increased that to 60 days. Supporters said that following the federal crackdown, many renters were too scared to go to work and are still struggling to keep up with bills. But Frey vetoed that measure today, saying in part that the policy could make housing instability worse and undermine Minneapolis's progress in affordable housing. However, the mayor today announced a $1 million investment in emergency rental assistance. His office says this will help residents avoid eviction. The city already approved $1 million last month. More tonight on the eviction on WCCO News. Your fourth thing to know today, TSA workers are once again feeling the brunt of the government shutdown. This Friday, they could miss their first full paycheck since DHS funding stopped last month. Today at MSP International Airport, volunteers handed out boxes of food, trying to help in any way they can. WCCO's Adam Duxter has more from Terminal 1, where he spent the day talking with agents.
One agent I spoke with off camera this morning put it simply, she is tired. This is the third time in the past 6 months that TSA agents will have their pay either partially impacted or fully cut due to a government funding issue. Now we are just 2 days out from TSA workers here at MSP International Airport missing yet another paycheck because of that lapse in government funding. Now today's food drop-off meant to lend a helping hand. Veep, a nonprofit based in Bloomington, dropping off hundreds of these food boxes, each with more than 11 pounds of non-perishables to try and help TSA agents make ends meet. This, as a CBS News report confirms, hundreds of TSA workers across the country have quit, and in cities across the country, TSA worker call-out rates have climbed into the double digits. Today, a local union rep says he feels TSA has become a pawn in a political fight.
We're definitely pawns. I mean, there could have been a budget passed this year. It was the fiscal year started October 1st of 2025. We're 6 months in, and there's no budget for this year. This is dereliction of duty of people who are elected, both in the administration and in Congress. We're doing our job. We're coming in, and we're putting ourselves at risk. We're screening passengers. We're looking for bombs and bags, and we're not getting paid. This is not right.
We've seen those long lines and massive delays in other parts of the country. We have not seen that yet here. Another TSA agent I spoke with off camera says she will continue coming to work regardless of if she's getting paid or not. The word she used was integrity.
Those are the 4 things to know today. Now let's check in on our forecast.
Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. As we head into tonight, we drop below freezing. We're down to 29, your overnight low. Heading into tomorrow, we're back up to 46. That's when we pull in a rain snow chance, a little bit more likely to just be rain for the metro.
And now, here's more to know.
A federal judge has ruled ICE agents did illegally detain people during the enforcement operation in Minnesota. They say nearly 24 arrests were made based on race. In December, ICE arrested 20-year-old Mubashir Hussein in Minneapolis. He is a U.S. citizen, and he told agents that during his arrest. Hussein was one of many who testified about his experience to a federal judge in St. Paul.
I told him I'm a U.S. citizen, what is going on? He didn't seem to care. He dragged me outside through the snow while I was handcuffed, restrained, helpless, and he pushed me to the ground and he put me in a chokehold. That was very uncalled for.
The judge's decision is laid out in a 110-page document where he notes that the federal government failed to dispute almost all of the testimony provided by the plaintiff's side. In 5 of the 34 cases included in the lawsuit, the judge did find that ICE used other evidence to make arrests. We have asked DHS for comment, but they have not responded. New developments in the investigation into the deadly shooting of Alex Preddy by federal agents. Sources tell CBS News that the Justice Department is breaking with tradition and will not use prosecutors who specialize in excessive force cases. The case is going to a man named Brandon Robleski. He's an employment litigation lawyer with no experience handling federal criminal cases. Robleski will work with 2 prosecutors from the Minneapolis U.S. Attorney's Office on the probe. That's according to several sources. A Justice Department spokesperson confirmed Robleski has been assigned to the case. The spokesperson also said the criminal section's acting deputy assistant attorney, General Robert Keenan, is also involved. Questions about the investigation remain after the FBI denied state investigators access to evidence in the Preddy and Renee Good investigations. At least a dozen members of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota resigned over the handling of those cases in immigration enforcement. Happening today, the Minneapolis City Council will hold a roundtable to discuss the creation of a $38 million facility. The proposal is for a community safety training and wellness center for all city workers who focus on keeping the community safe. Those in favor say it would support safer responses, stronger coordination, and the well-being of first responders. There would be classrooms, mental health support, training spaces, and even an indoor shooting range. All of Minneapolis's community safety functions from 911, firefighters, police, they would all be able to use the facility. Today's discussion focuses on state funding support and making the facility a top priority capital budget request. One other story we're tracking today, the latest on tariff impacts. After the Supreme Court ruled President Trump's sweeping tariffs were illegal, Minnesota Representative Kelly Morrison is now working to get refunds for the companies forced to pay those tariffs. On Tuesday, she sat down with one of the owners of Yum Kitchen and Bakery in Minnetonka, Robbie Soskin, to get his thoughts.
We don't expect that someone will ask us how many avocados that we purchased. But we know that our supplier can aggregate. And like I said, if you pick good partners, we have confidence that they will figure out how to pass the benefit along to us.
Morrison introduced legislation to repay hundreds of billions of dollars to small businesses impacted by those tariffs. Let's talk sports. All eyes on the Minnesota Vikings today. It's the first official day of NFL free agency. As of this recording, it hasn't quite started yet. It opens this afternoon. A lot of questions. It might be confirmed by the time you listen to this, but will it be Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins? All potential options for the Vikings to bring in at quarterback. As I said yesterday, all indications so far point it might be former Cardinals #1 pick Kyler Murray. I don't have any new information for you right now, but we will tonight on WCCO Sports with Mike Max. If they make a signing, Maxie will be all over it. Going to be fun to watch. The Wild keep rolling. 5-0 last night over the Utah Mammoth, and this is a fun story. So Bobby Brink, the Minnetonka native, scored his first goal in a Wild sweater after coming over from Philly at the trade deadline. And I was at the game last night as a fan. Let me tell you, the place absolutely erupted when he scored and they announced his name. Fans love when Minnesota players get in action on the Wild. Wild back in action tomorrow night against, coincidentally, Brink's former team, the Flyers. And the T-Wolves lose last night against the Lakers. Tough game. No Wolves player had more than 14 points. Yeah, not ideal. Chance to rebound, though, tonight against the LA Clippers. 9:30 tip-off.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
Foodies out there, listen up. Opening tomorrow in Plymouth, Coburn's Market Table. It's a new concept for Coburn's. That's obviously a grocery store, but now restaurants will be in the same building. You can eat the food in the dining area or just grab and go. The well-known Butter Tin selling bakery items and cupcakes will be open along with breakfast and lunch. The Global Table by David Fimo will be offering 3 fast casual concepts as well: Italian, Mexican, and burgers. A lot of options to choose from at this little food market, and Fimo says the food culture might actually be changing a bit.
Do you have to get into a high-end fancy building with a high-end wine list and full-service dining in order for you to eat well? Maybe it used to be that way. I think we're changing the paradigm a little bit in saying you can go grocery shopping and get that same quality food, same quality presentation at a great value in a fast casual format.
Coburn's Market Table is near 494 and Bass Lake Road in Plymouth. Grand opening tomorrow at 6 a.m. They're giving out a free bag of groceries to the first 200 people in the store tomorrow. 1 bag per family. I'm Johnny Connor. This has been 4 Things to Know. We're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock. Thanks so much for listening today. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO Daily News podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Maria Lizignoli, and this podcast comes to you from the WCCO Podcast Studio.
I'm Johnny Connor, and this is where you'll find the latest news of the day with us on 4 Things to Know.
I'm Mariel Mose, and I bring you the stories behind the female athletes redefining the game on women in sports.
I'm Adam Duxter. Join me for a deep dive into faith and what it means to Minnesotans around the state on Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO Podcast Studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.